Aha. All right.
Good? Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Games Are Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Monkey.
Ah.
I'm Saturn.
Oh, this is awful. Try it.
Oh, no, that looks gross. What is that?
You gotta try it. It's terrible.
No, thank you. I have a very sensitive palate.
How's everyone doing?
Something bad, you want someone else to try it. It's what
It goes
you do.
well.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Dog.
Still having minor computer issues, but otherwise well.
Yes. I think that's just a constant state of existence these days. Minor computer issues.
That's fair. Hang on.
So as long as it's not blowing up or giving you a blue screen, you're good.
You tried to turn on the computer and it gives you a blue screen. All right.
So yeah, today we're gonna shift focus a little bit. So far we've been talking primarily about video games and whatever random stuff we wander into. But today I thought we'd do an intro into tabletop role-playing and tell you a bit about that if you're not familiar with it, and kind of share with you some of our experiences and why we do it. So to start off, for those of you who have no idea what this thing is, tabletop role-playing is essentially a form of collaborative storytelling where you have a set of rules, usually what they call like a core rule book, and this can be anywhere from like a couple pages of rules to like a 500-page doorstop. And the whole purpose of the rules is basically to kind of adjudicate different situations fairly and determine the outcomes of your actions and things like that. But the heart of it is you have most of the people are the players who take on the persona of a character, and then you have another person who is alternately called the Dungeon Master if you're playing D&D, or generally speaking the Game Master. Every system uses its own name for it, but I just use Game Master as the general term. So that is the basic idea behind it. And pretty much all role-playing games have some sort of randomizer they tend to use when it comes to skills and abilities. Most games use dice, but some games will use playing cards. Other games will use like tokens that you pay to use different abilities. There's even one that uses a Jenga tower. It's a horror game called Dread.
Wait, what? I have not heard of this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah. Dread's wonderful. So the idea behind Dread is it's a horror game, and whenever your character does something risky or dangerous or anything like that, they have to take a block from the Jenga tower, and it's like normal Jenga where you take the block and put it on top. And if at any point during the game your character knocks the Jenga tower over, they're either dead, or they go insane, or they get lost in the woods, or whatever. You're just basically eliminated from the story at that point.
Can we play this, please?
We could. I have to get some copies of Tabletop Simulator and get the Jenga tower in there. Totally do that.
They have the Jenga tower in that. Maybe.
So yeah, so to start off with, I think each of us will just kind of tell you how we got into tabletop role-playing and the kind of games we've played in the past, and whether we've been player, game master, and stuff like that. So, you want to get started, Quill?
Yeah. So I just kind of started. I'm doing a campaign right now, the Discworld campaign, with you guys. So that's just what is it called? The Strange, right?
Yep. We're using a system by Monty Cook Games called The Strange. So, if you're wondering what that is the thing.
Yeah. Oh, we were gonna play Fiasco this Jan term, but that that didn't end up happening.
Oh,
so
too bad.
It's not too-
Yeah, Fiasco's a
we need to
beautiful
go
game.
bother. Yeah, we need to go bother our friends. Be like, hey, we still need to do that. So
Yeah,
Right,
Jason
we did
Morning-
all of that setup.
yeah.
Yeah, Jason Morningstar, the guy who developed Fiasco, is actually a really awesome game designer in general. He's done some other stuff as well. He's really good at taking like political subject matter and turning them or historical events and turning them into interesting role-playing games. He has this one he did, I think his most recent one, called Night Witches. It's about the all-female Soviet bomber wing during World War II. And the Germans gave them that nickname because they flew these old biplanes over their targets to drop their bombs. So they would never hear them coming until after the bombs had dropped. That's why they called them the Night Witches.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think he did another one about I think it was in Warsaw sometime during World War II.
That was odd. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he's. But back to Fiasco. For those of you who have not experienced the beautiful thing that is Fiasco, think if you've ever watched like a Coen Brothers movie or like Fargo or something of that vein, where you basically have you have your good guys and your bad guys in those movies, and things go really well for the good guys, generally speaking, and they go really well for the bad guys, but everyone else in the middle, their life just falls apart. So it's basically, if you don't take one extreme or another, you're going down hard.
It seems to be a lot of the case. It's like no matter which side is doing well, good guys are bad. Like there's always like the middle people who are just kind of stuck in the middle of the onslaught. Like we're here too.
It's like all the people in like all of the like all the games like Link and stuff where you just break into their houses, smash up their pods, steal their coin, and then leave.
Just break things. I found a rupee. I spent like 50 rupees on all of these.
It's just like running around, destroying people's lives. No big deal.
Not a problem.
Yeah, but what's really interesting about Fiasco is it's not really like a traditional tabletop game, because the dice are actually there just for you to basically frame the scenes and determine the outcome of the scenes. So what you do is at the very beginning of the game, you have like a certain number of dice. You roll all of them, and the dice you have determine the different relationships and items and places that you can have in this particular game. And then once you figure all that out, you can do one of two things when it comes to your turn. Basically, you just go around the table and everyone does a scene with one or more other characters, and you can either decide to resolve the scene, where you say, this is going to end good or badly for me, and you basically take one of the dice that correspond to that. You have basically black and white dice that say these are good things, these are bad things, or you can in that case, everyone else at the table frames the scene for you and decides what's going on. The other way you can do it is you can decide what's going to happen in the scene, and then the scene just kind of resolves naturally based on what happens.
Yeah, it's like purely improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in one Fiasco session like last year. I'll get into that later.
Okay.
Quill, we lost you. We can't hear you.
Yep. Come back, Quill.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
A little bit.
Can you hear me now? Actually, that guy switched to Verizon. I can't make that joke anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Saturn, tell us a little bit about your how you got into the role playing thingy.
Okay. Truthfully, I really only recently started getting involved with it. Like, I mean, I had always heard like things like my dad played D&D when he was in college, and he loved it. Like, there was he and his friends like made a huge event out of it, and it's like I want to get involved with this. And in high school, I knew a bunch of people who did, but I just never got into it. I think it was just a matter of fact, like I never really had any friends who did.
Right.
And truthfully, I think my first introduction to, I guess, like any sort of tabletop RPG was not actually a tabletop RPG, but a game based off of a tabletop RPG.
Sure.
It was
yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I had seen someone play a snippet of the game. Like, this looks fun. I want to play it, and beat the game, loved it, and then for the longest time really wanted to play play that system. Yeah. And I actually just recently got I think a ton of the books, so I might look at those and maybe do it.
I am in a vaguely similar boat where my dad played D&D. I have he gave me all his stuff. It's great. I just don't use any of it because we play online. I think I have 2 dice sets, an old Player's Handbook 2nd edition.
Oh, 2nd edition? Yeah, I actually, let's see, I think one of my first, I'm kind of the same way as Saturn, is I got into tabletop role-playing by way of video games, but my first experience would have been Baldur's Gate, which is, yes. I had played other role-playing games before that, but Baldur's Gate was based off of 2nd edition D&D, so there was an actual link there. And I really didn't start playing tabletop games until college, when I got into 3rd and 3.5 D&D, and since then I've just kind of dove down that rabbit hole and tried all sorts of different things. I've done Fate, I've done Cypher System, the Apocalypse World games and the derivatives, and all sorts of stuff. So,
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, my first ever actual proper, I guess, D&D session was when we did that Halloween dungeon crawl last year.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was my first proper one with dice and everything.
Yeah, last year I ran a Halloween game that I based off of. If you've ever played the Pathfinder module, Rise of the Rune Lords, it's based off of one of the sections from that, and I basically used the house, pulled it whole cloth, and used that as a sort of haunted house adventure, and converted it over to 5th edition D&D.
Yeah, that was fun. And then after that, I was part of a fiasco thing at the on-campus convention, which was something else.
Uh-huh.
That was my I had not played Fiasco before that, and I didn't know what I was expecting. Next thing I knew, people were flashing each other to get information, and someone was banging my twin brother, thought I was them, and next thing I knew, I was their slave for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that sounds like a maybe not typical game of Fiasco, but that's definitely in the realm of possibilities for that game.
It's just well, that just came out of left field. Okay, I guess I'm this now. I guess this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It was it? I don't know. I think it was Scott, who ended up playing the Maid Fiasco.
Oh, Maid RPG. That was.
What
the hell even is that game?
The great painful travesty that is Maid RPG.
Oh my god! Too many inside jokes came out of that.
I don't want to play Fiasco. I just want to sit here and watch you all suffer and laugh at you.
Yeah. The thing is, I wasn't a part of that session that he did, but I walked in halfway and I'm just listening to what's going on. It's what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I knew, like a bunch of like us just bystanders were just making a bunch of inside jokes.
Yeah, it's like, if you're not familiar with Made RPG, imagine a flaming trash can of an anime got turned into a role-playing game. That's Made RPG.
Oh my god. Yeah. Apparently that one was a harem anime.
Yes.
Like that particular section.
I think it's kind of structured that way anyhow. I'm not super familiar with the system. I've read enough of it to say, like, nope, I don't ever want to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, but Brian, you'd be so good at it.
Oh, goodness.
Oh no. I'd be curious, but I would not inflict that on you. I would not. That was... Oh my god. And then just the rest of the stuff I've done have all been with you, Monkey. Like the only other two like D&D sessions I've done were like the one that we did over this last summer and the one that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm
Oh god, no. No, Quill, no. Okay, we'll just post it in the chat. Maybe MonkeeBoom in a maid outfit could be the mascot. No.
down, Quill. Down.
No. I mean, I'm curious now, but damn it, Quill.
Hey, I am definitely on the weird part of my art spectrum right now. Like, I drew the fusions yesterday. Like, I did the DBZ fusion and the Steven Universe fusion, but I flipped who was doing what.
Oh,
yeah.
so you're in, like, your DeviantArt phase? I'm just gonna do the weirdest thing I can and post it on the internet.
Pretty much.
Good. It looked good.
Best part for me is I have never seen DBZ. Like, I watched like maybe half an episode when I was a kid, and so I've never like even vaguely like I've never even tried drawing the characters before. And I was drawing, what was it, like Tons or something? I don't know their names. Guy with the gray hair that was like this. His hair is a nightmare to draw. It's awful. It's I have no idea what's going on with that, but it's terrible.
I think it was Goku and Trunks. Maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Trunks.
I don't watch DBZ either, but...
Yeah.
It wasn't Goku. It was like the little one. It was like the little version of Goku.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know if it's his kid or if it's like his younger brother or whatever, but...
Yeah, I haven't watched Dragon Ball since the original when I was a kid. So at this point, I have no idea what's going on with that whole continuum.
So the first Dragon Ball episode I ever saw was in Spanish.
Nice.
It was just it's like, oh, what is this show? Oh, it's a Japanese cartoon. I guess I'll watch it. I didn't know what was going on, but...
Cool. So, next up, what is it about kind of tabletop role-playing games that interested you and wanted to get into it in the first place?
I really, I really enjoy anything that is tangential, I guess. I am like super casual with a lot of how I play, because pretty much like I'll play a game, I'll figure out the system, and then if the system doesn't change, I get very bored of the game very quickly. Like Sentinels and Dominion, I will play forever because those, like, the cards change and the rules change every single time. But like,
Right.
Uno, like, all right, I know what I'm doing. It's just kind of like, what card do you draw?
Right.
So I play them, just not as often. But with RPGs, that's not even an option. Like, you can't have every single time. It's like.
Where we're gonna end up this time? And who's gonna screw it up?
Just play it over and over again, and no two playthroughs are going to be exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like start in jail, accidentally end up breaking into an elementary school for some reason.
Next thing I know, I'm turning into a scythe and sticking my blade out the window, looking for guards.
Hey, no one said you had to break into the elementary school. That's just how you went about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like that was not a necessary step.
No.
So it's not like that had to be how the game went. That's just how we chose to have it go.
Right.
Our group is kind of like really stupid with our decisions sometimes and goes like the long way about solving a problem that gets us in trouble and in jail on a regular basis.
Yeah, I've had that recurring theme with like a lot of the groups I've done. And like even going back to like my first game master experience back when I was in the army, basically we had a guy, what was it? Oh yes, the dwarf had gotten drunk.
Like you do.
Yes, we found. Yes, they were basically patrolling around the city looking for a water elemental. Turns out it's in like the central fountain of the city, and the dwarf basically ends up drowning in the fountain with the water elemental. Because he was wearing plate armor, he was drunk and didn't quite know how to swim.
Oh my god. Of course. I would just like to see like the dice rolls for that and just the dismay on the player's character.
No.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or what was it? My fake campaign that was that where we used the Dresden Files. One, they generally went about things in a roundabout fashion, but for our last few sessions where they were wrapping things up, I basically told them they had this problem they needed to solve. So rather than taking the most direct solution of the problem, which was basically going to a warehouse and blowing it up, what they decided to do is, well, let's go enter into the BIOS of the universe and then go into a demon's dream and try to fix the problem from there.
I think you told me about this once.
Yes. I think at one point I even pointed this out to them. I'm just like, you do realize you've went full Inception with this, and you're inside a dream of a dream. There were other solutions, and they're like, oh yeah.
I love in RPGs how you can just kind of be like so immersed in the game that you just get so off topic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Over the summer when we did our 13th Age campaign, like there was, I think this was the first session, like the first official session. Mm-hmm. We were trying to steal a pirate ship because we were sky pirates and we were trying to steal
that was our premise, is you were going to be sky pirates, so the first session was getting your ship.
Yeah. And the way that we found out like the ship we were trying to get was like it was controlled by a djinn, or it was like a djinn was trapped in it and kind of just being controlled by, I guess, the captain of the ship. And we're like, okay, if we get you out of there, it's like, will you help us? Like, and it's like, oh yeah, sure, I guess. and
solid.
The way that we did this was just like, we were trying to, like, she was basically encased in like this tube that had like a spell around it. Like there was like a rune that was like drawn in chalk, mm-hmm. or something like that. And what we were trying to do is like, we need to find like the gem or something like that. We need to like cast something to like break the spell. But it wound up being, the guards were coming back, and we were like just in such a pinch that I think our cleric, of all people, who was a warforged, we called him Baomax just because robot medic, but we like he literally busted through like the floor right above the vat just to break the rune like just to break the spell.
Yes,
It was
basically.
like the most like unconventional way possible.
Yes, basically punched his way through the cage and got in through that method, which almost killed him. By the way,
It technically works.
yes.
It worked. It just wasn't the way we were supposed to do it.
Well,
Well, I guess there really was no
it was
right
definitely
way.
not the path of least resistance. I'll put it that way.
There were plenty of things we could have done.
Right. Monkey, the spoilers banner is up.
Nope. My bad. Yes, spoilers from the campaign that we used to do.
That no one will be a part of.
Okie dokie. So, same thing with you, Saturn. What got you into role playing?
I don't know. Like, I think mainly just like the random storytelling aspect of it has always just been really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like sort of like with the whole thing that Quill mentioned, where it's like things are kind of like random pretty much every time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's just some sort of appeal. It's like, what's gonna happen this time? Like, I wonder where this is gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you look at another campaign and it's like, oh yeah, I want those experiences. Like, it's not going to be exactly like that. Like it'll be your own. Like, it's like, will it be an epic quest, or is it going to be like slapstick, like Saturday morning cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's just really fun, and also I sort of like this, like just the community aspect of it, because it's like we're with friends and we're just talking and kind of exchange like, hey, how are we gonna do this? And
Okay, cool.
I don't know. That's
How about you, Monkey?
I got into it for a few different reasons. Kind of like kind of same sort of things that why I started playing video games is when I was younger, I was very very awkward and very timid. So one of the things that role playing games let me do is it gave me a safe space to express myself and to get ideas out that I normally couldn't. And so it was just this kind of that escapism and fantasy element of it that allowed me to do something I normally couldn't.
Nice.
it does have that sort of nice disconnect where you can kind of just leave the world behind for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually role playing is also a common technique among therapists, because what they've realized is that if somebody pretends to be somebody else, they'll express themselves in ways they normally won't. And it also lets them disconnect themselves from whatever it is they're dealing with.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a really, really clever technique.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? The extra credits that did the importance of games or whatever. I feel like I know that they do video games mainly, but that'd be a cool addition if they ever branched out.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't watched any of extra credits stuff.
I definitely
Really?
recommend it.
Should.
If you're ever interested in looking at games from the perspective of like this is what's special about video games, and they also look at it from like a designer perspective and be like, how do we make games better or more interesting or more effective? Because one of the guys that works on the show, James, he's basically a consultant that works on video games. And he basically he goes around and he does talks and he works with different companies and basically shows them, like, this is what you need to do and this is why this will be more effective and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard like many a great thing about extra credits, so it's on my list.
Yeah. And And their animator always, or multiple animators sometimes, always has a good time with what they're doing. So.
Yeah. They do have. There's kind of like two. Well, kind of three. They have like a whole bunch of different channels now too. So, or not channels, but series.
Right.
Like they have the history one that they do every once in a while. I think they did like Simon Bolivia or something last. But they have videos that are more for like if you're actually designing a game that are more technical, and then they have ones that are more like geared towards like writing and application of like various techniques in the game that are like even if you were not in the gaming industry are still really cool vids.
Yeah. And there's another one where I think it's just called James Recommends, where he just is like, "Hey, here's a game I played. You should go play this."
I like those. Like there's some YouTubers who will like try things out and then like give a verdict. It's like they'll start a playthrough and then it winds up being just like a one-off. It's like I'm loving this game so much. I don't want to spoil the rest of it for you guys. I want you guys to experience it on your own.
Right. Yeah. I could totally understand that.
That was actually how I picked up Undertale.
Yeah.
It's like I saw.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Good.
Well, it was like I saw like the first episode of something, and that actually they said now before we begin this, we highly recommend you go and play this game for yourself because it's like it was like I guess the developer actually contacted them. It's like, hey, it's okay if you do a playthrough, but it's kind of one of those games that I want people to experience for themselves as well. And after playing it, I totally understand why, because it's one of those. I mean, I spoke about Undertale, I think, on like the very first episode of this, where it's just like one of those things where it just suddenly just hits you out of left field, and suddenly it's like things are happening.
Yeah.
I'm feeling things I wasn't expecting to feel.
I can see what's happening, but they don't have a clue. Sorry.
This song is copyrighted.
Please don't sue us, we're broke.
Go ahead. You will get nothing.
Actually, I have a whole $120 to my name until I pay my roommate.
That won't even pay for a lawyer consult.
You get like 2
at least a
minutes.
decent one.
Like they'll give me a glancing look in the hallway.
We're like,
Just buy me a
nope,
beer.
not worth it. Moving along.
Speaking of which, I should probably pay my roommate.
Yeah, Undertale was a funny thing because almost every like reviewer that I normally watch was basically like, even if they would normally do spoilers and whatnot, they'd be like, yeah, go play this. That's all. Good game. Have fun.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or if they would do a review, it's like, okay, wait. Before I continue, I recommend stop this video now. Play the game yourself, please.
Now you can put up the spoilers banner, Monkey.
Aha. There you go.
Just in case.
Yes. Because pretty much to talk about Undertale, you have to spoil Undertale because it's Undertale.
Have I spoiled anything? I hope not.
I don't think so.
No, you just gotta talk about it rather obliquely.
I already know the spoilers.
Wait, what was that, Quill?
I need to go watch a playthrough, but I already know the spoilers.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Shoot. Yeah, that was my gift to a bunch of people for Christmas this year. It's just like, you haven't played Undertale yet? Here, have a copy.
Here, go forth, do great things.
Oh, you know nothing about the game. Okay, good. Perfect.
Excellent. I don't know how this happened, but it'll work.
It's like, stay off of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, that's something like I loved Undertale, but I'm kind of mixed about like the community, like the fan base.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Because there's like there's like a divide where it's like equal parts. Like I love the game, and they do like really cool fan art. But there's also like not like aside from like the videos that we recommended, where like they're doing reviews of it. There was never really any like regard for whether or not they're spoiling something for someone else, and then just like a hostility towards those who like didn't like the game, because it's like, yeah, I get it. Like this game wouldn't appeal to everyone. It appealed to me because I like the Mother series.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like there's one of my biggest frustrations with a lot of the gaming community is like if you ask an artist like, hey, what do you think of this picture? They're like, it's pretty, but I don't like it. And I have met like maybe 3 or 4 people who like online gaming people who are like, I don't like this game, but I recognize that it's cool.
Yeah.
And most people aren't willing to do that, which is ridiculous because it's like not all games are meant to appeal to all people, and it's stupid to not recognize that. Like, have a list of games where you're like, if you play through the game and you're like, not my favorite, you could just be like, this is a game that would appeal to a different audience that's not me, and I don't want to play it, but...
Yeah.
It's like everybody expects all the games to appeal to them all the time. It's like, that's not how any media works.
Yeah, no. It's like with me, I play a lot of games, but if you give me like a sports game or a racing game, even if it's beautiful and well done, I'm going to be like, I'm bad at this and I'm not really interested, so no.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a game that I'm thinking of right now. There's been plenty of games where it's just like, this is a good game, it just doesn't really appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's see.
So you're going to talk about Undertale. Yes? No? Maybe?
Are we good on Undertale, or...?
I think so.
You think so? If we wander into it again, I'll put it back up.
Alright.
Okay, Undertale discussion over.
Yeah. We didn't spoil anything.
I was going to say, that was anticlimactic.
Spoilers, we didn't spoil anything.
That was a whole lot of us not talking about Undertale.
Yeah. Like we put the banner up, we stopped talking about it.
It's like, cool, it's good. I got it out of my system. Okie dokie.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so here's one that I have played.
Yes.
Arabian Nights. And I think it's... The title of the actual game's longer. Hang on.
I think it's just... It might have a longer title, but it's generally just known as Arabian Nights.
Okay. Technically, it's Tales of the Arabian Nights. But
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that was... I have not played all the way through... I have not played all the way through it yet. So we're going to... Saturn and I are going to buy a board game and take it to Gaming Club, and we're going to sit people down and be like, hey, we're going to steal you for the entirety of Gaming Club today, and we're going to play this game because we need to finish it.
You have to be willing
like,
to
everybody
devote
I've ever played with, we either get interrupted or we're like, alright, we've been here for hours, I'm done. But that one's really fun, because it is like a board game with like objectives and stuff, but like there's encounter cards and those change the game like drastically almost every single time you pick one up, so you can make your own story and they're great. It's hilarious and terrible.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar, Tales of the Arabian Nights is a board game which takes place in the Arabian mythology, and especially like coming from Scheherazade and the 1001 Nights and all of those stories. So Aladdin, genies, sultans, that kind of stuff.
I think Aladdin's actually a playable character.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Aladdin, Scheherazade, Sinbad, a couple others. But yeah, so basically the way the game works is you have this map of the entire world, which, by the way, doesn't look like an actual map of the entire world, just it's like what they thought the world looked like in the Arabian mythology. So you travel around, you go to different cities, and each of the characters has skills they can use. And what you do is whenever you have an encounter, you have this book that's about like that thick. It's like 1,000 pages and like 8.5 by 11 paper, and you flip to whatever encounter you're doing, and then you decide what action you're going to take, and then based on what you do, or if you have the right skill, encounters will go differently. Like what do I want to do? Do I want to rob this person? Do I want to talk to them? Do I want to bribe them? And the beauty of the game is it just seeing the various things that can happen throughout it. So yeah, and it's a board game, but it's probably best enjoyed as a sort of like almost like interactive choose your own adventure.
And it's hilarious because sometimes it's like I don't know, like you'll go to, I don't know how to spoil it, of course. Like sometimes it's like it'll give you an interaction and you do it, and it's like you're expecting one outcome, but then the interaction just kind of goes like really weird. Like, okay, minor spoilers for one of the card plays. You encounter a house on fire, and if you choose to... Thanks.
Spoilers for Tales of the Arabian Nights.
If you choose to drink, you go down to a local tavern, and on your way out, you bump into a dude, and you see, like, fire starter supplies fall out of his jacket. And so, like, you catch him, you catch the fire starter who set the house on fire, and you're lauded as a hero. So it's like, okay, that's not what I was expecting to happen here, but okay.
Alright, cool.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually, have you guys ever read any of those, like, I guess, like, choose your own adventure books? Like the really long, extended ones?
Yeah, when I was younger, I read a lot of those.
RPG? It has been a very long time since I read those.
Yeah, those were...
Very long time.
Yeah, back when I was like, 10, 11, something like that.
There were like some... Like, there are those, like, I know for a fact I owned one of these. There was like a Goosebumps one.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had like the regular Goosebumps, but they also had the Choose Your Own Adventure ones as well.
It's like, reader beware, you choose the scare, something like that.
Uh-huh.
But there was that, and I think there were like a couple, like, proper, like, RPG ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what they were called, though. Well, it was just like, it was mainly just like a text-based adventure game, so...
Yeah, I do remember, I forget the... Oh, who was the guy? He was a British guy, I believe, and it was the Sorcerer series, I want to say. And yeah, these were like choose your own adventure books, but they were also like an actual RPG where you had like stats that you kept track of as you went through the book. So depending on what you did would determine your stats and equipment and stuff like that. And if you had the right stuff, you could go down certain paths and whatnot.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the author either, but I think they actually adapted one of those books into, it was like an iPad game.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, those have always been really interesting to me.
We lost you, Quill.
No.
Come back.
Well, we can't hear you.
Oh. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good now.
Why is this happening?
I keep accidentally hitting the mute button.
Yep.
I was really, really bad at those games because I would play through it like once normally, but then I wanted to know all the interactions, so like halfway through my playthrough I would like start just reading all of the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I never really got through those properly.
Just like, bookmark this with my finger and keep reading.
Yeah, or I'd get out like a piece of scratch paper and I'd start like diagramming the choices, be like, okay, if I do this, this goes over here. If I do this, this does this. Okay, if I do this, this just loops back to this point.
Maybe we should do like a thing one day on like paper outside of video games, because there are a lot of video games where like I did stuff outside of the video game in order to play the video game.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, yeah. Like back when I was younger and played role playing games, it's just like you don't get a map, you don't get a journal. You gotta write that down, son.
Yeah, you gotta write this down.
Yeah, like playing what was it? Actually, Ultima Underworld did have a map, but you definitely had to write down everything in that game. Not only that, but there's a particular section in the game where there's a lizard man species that lives down in the underworld along with everyone else, and they speak a different language. So you have to find a translator and basically write down all the words that you find and get him to translate them for you, so you can figure out what they're talking about and you don't insult them or anger them unnecessarily. And they did not keep track of that for you. You're just like, you're gonna write that down. You're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I remember in Riven, like the second Myst game, like
Ooh.
there was a lot of like number puzzles in that game, and there was like a certain, like, numbers were written in a very weird way, and the way that you learned like what each number was is you had to go to, like, I guess, like, it was like a schoolhouse for like a bunch of just, like, I guess the natives of the region, and in there was like this little game that was basically like two men hanging from strings that were like being lowered towards like sharks at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And you would like pull like a little lever and it would like spin a thing, and then a little symbol would come up which was like a specific number, and it would lower like that many ticks.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that much closer to the shark, and you would learn like numbers 1 through 9.
Yeah, and it was like if you rotated the symbols like 90 degrees, that would represented something else and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't remember how I figured that out.
Yeah, I don't think I ever. I've played through all the other Myst games, but Riven, I just kind of hit a wall with that one, and I was just like, and I had no desire to come back to it. It was just like, nope, I'm done with this.
That was the only game I had for a while, so I was like, well,
Yeah, fair enough.
I guess I'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the 5-disc version as well.
Right, because back then it came on. It was like right before the era of DVDs, so we're gonna put this on 5 CDs. It's like freaking A. It's going back to the dark ages, like when I had to use like 12 discs to install a game.
What was I? Oh my gosh, Batman Beyond. One of my friends and I are watching it again, and it's like we were laughing because the discs are really weird. Like there's like 12 episodes on one disc and like 8 episodes on another. We're like, why are they split like this? And we realized because they just downloaded as much as they could onto one disc, and then we're like, oh, okay, we're out of room. Let's go down. Whoops.
Nice. Oh well.
Nice.
Yeah. No, but then you have games like what is it? Don't Stop Talking or Everything Explodes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun game, but that definitely requires extra paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of patience and clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
All of the patience. I think that's the only game that I have technically rage quit. We went back, but we rage quit for
like,
good
I'm done.
minutes.
I'm out. Come back to this later, maybe.
You can. I think the most modules you can have is 8, and I think we did 8 modules in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing it with one of my friends at Gaming Club, and we got it to within 3. Like we were like every single time we were like 2 clicks off, like 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, you know what?
Like, come on!
But oh man, dude, that was rough. That was definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because you like sit there the entire time just like stressing out, and like you're like so close, I'm gonna click that, boom. Damn it!
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's playing like the super intense like Inception music.
Right.
It's like, you're running out of time. Running out of time. The music's building. It's getting louder. You're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I think they also made a VR version of it recently, so you can which is so you can kind of instead of like the way you normally do it is you can physically rotate it in VR. So which is kind of
like
funky.
with the Vive.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a Vive.
Oh jeez. Because I know the game had Oculus Rift support when it came out.
Well, pretty much VR with this point, anything is essentially portable to anything else with a few simple hacks.
Mm-hmm. God, playing that game on the Vive, that would be just awful.
Well,
I'd be
also
so scared.
Like, from what I understand, a lot of VR right now, I know, like, barely anything about VR, but it's not, like, super, like, you can't walk around super far in it yet, so that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in this weird place where VR has tried to take off multiple times in the past and has failed pretty hard each time. This is the first time it's ever really, like, people are like, oh, this could possibly maybe work. Not just, oh, that's weird, and just ignored it.
Is the Oculus still, like, doing stuff?
I'm sure they are. I just don't know what offhand. I haven't been following the VR scene super close.
Yeah, I kind of almost want to, though, because, like, what makes this one so much different that they actually think it's going to work this time around? Because, yeah, usually something comes out and everybody ditches it in like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is, since it's so new and the control scheme and displaying is so different, developers haven't quite figured out how to do it. So you're ending up with a lot of derivative games where it's like either, oh, I stand in a spot and shoot a thing, or I or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Like I think the main
sorry, go ahead.
Like I think the main hurdle that they have to get over is like how do we handle movement?
Yes,
like
they have
not staying in like a static position.
They do have to figure out how to handle movement. The other problem they're having is because of how it displays for your eyes, so you don't get sick, is you have to double render everything. So it requires a lot of hardware to run effectively and not throw up in the process.
Right. So wasn't that the case with the Virtual Boy?
Oh, probably. I don't remember exactly what happened with that critter.
I really appreciate when they have games that develop because they're trying to adapt to the system. It's really cool. But I feel like when they finally do figure out like a movement thing for it, it'll probably be something like you could do a mech suit. It's like you're doing controls with your hands or something like that.
Yeah, VR is going to work really well for things like simulators where you're in like a cockpit, like you're naturally sitting down and you turn your head to look around as if you were looking around in a cockpit. That kind of thing I think is going to work well. Whereas it's going to be difficult to do things like where more natural human movement.
So just don't have it. Just have them be simulation games.
Yeah, that's what they should do. I mean, that's until they are working on some solutions. Like they have, I have seen different prototypes and whatnot, where it's basically like a treadmill, and that way you can walk, and the treadmill senses how quickly you're walking. That way, if you want to run, you have to run, and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sold on that one?
I could go outside.
Hey, it's another way to get exercise. You wouldn't even need to leave your house at that point.
Yeah, what was it?
But you could leave your house, though.
Oh, right, food.
You got Amazon. You can get food delivered.
Just Amazon. Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon does have the shopping function thing now.
Yeah,
that is right.
And you got all sorts of services that'll deliver food to your door, like everything, vegetables and produce and all that stuff. You literally do not have to leave your house in this day and age.
Which, I mean, actually is kind of cool for some people who couldn't leave their houses anyways, but...
I mean, like, it's awesome for me, because with my back problems, I don't like to go out a lot, so it's like, okay.
And that's perfect, and that's fine. Like, me personally, as as someone who is introverted, I think I would go crazy if I just like lock myself away for like weeks on end.
Yeah, but it means like if like this happened last year. Like if you're sick, you don't have to go outside and interact with other people.
Yeah.
You could just be like, I'm sick. I'm not going to leave my house now.
Yep, I'm gonna hunker down and return to society when I'm better.
Luckily, I have ways to interact with the outside world without actually being in the outside world.
Yes, exactly.
That's nice. Welcome to introvert paradise. Oh.
In which we talk to the whole internet. Well, the two of you that are watching.
Hello, two people that are watching.
We did this for our own amusement mostly, so hey, if you enjoy it, have fun.
I'll just continue to do this until maybe somebody shows up on a regular basis.
That's pretty much how these things work in general, is like even some of the like biggest Twitch streamers and YouTube channels, like their first 2 years was crickets. It's like nothing happened, and then all of a sudden it just like took off for whatever reason. It's like they hit that point where you start spreading the message and it starts growing exponentially. It's just getting
the right
to
formula for a post-war economic miracle.
I guess the best, like, I know nothing about Twitch streaming because I've never done it, but I feel like the best way to start out would be just like do it as if you're just recording for like a long form video.
Yeah, basically that.
Like someone will watch it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know a couple of at least one of my friends watches these like when he has time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is never when we're recording, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I just realized, if I'm logged in to watch, one of our viewers is me.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm the other viewer, actually.
Aha! Victory!
Nobody's watching!
Beautiful.
Glorious.
I'm my own biggest fan.
I know Valaire's lurking, but she's on her phone, so she can't do her usual thing.
Yeah. Well, where's I don't know. I guess everybody's still asleep, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, this is why I always put the VODs up on YouTube, so that it's like, hey, I don't want to get up on Saturday. Okay, just watch it on YouTube when you feel like it.
I don't want to get up on Saturday.
I get up.
Literally every single morning, I'm just like, I should get up, but I don't want to. But I really do.
Yeah. Part of the only reason I get up regularly is I need to take medications at a regular time. So I'm just like, if I don't get up in the morning, it screws things up.
That's fair. That's a good reason.
Yep.
I just need to get back to a normal sleep schedule. That's what I should do.
Sleep schedule.
You're in college. That'll happen later.
Yeah.
Like
sleep when I'm dead.
What was it? When I was in the Army, I didn't have a normal sleep schedule for years. It was just like I got out and I'm just like, oh, this is weird.
What do I do?
Or those weird weeks during the deployment where you'd like basically become nocturnal or like stay awake for days at a time and things like that. Black out all the windows so you can sleep during the day. I kid you not.
Oh yeah.
I believe you.
I do this for my classes, so I definitely believe you guys would do that for way more reasons.
Yeah. Although it was great. Oh, good.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was great though. On one of the bases I was on, like I had all the windows and stuff blacked out, but we lived next to the helicopter pad, so like in the middle of the night, be like thwop 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 thwop, and it's like no.
Why?
It'd be fine. I sleep through all the things. I think one of the most college student things I've ever done was we have single study rooms in the library, and I had an hour between my class and work, which was at the library. So
Right.
I put all of my stuff on one of the desks in the single study room, turned on the lights, so it looked like there was somebody in there, crawled under the desk, and took an hour nap. This was during midterms, and that was the point. That was, I think, 2 days before I realized I needed to sleep, because I walked from the hub to my dorm, and I don't remember anything past leaving the hub. But I woke up in my bed a couple hours later.
There's a space of time in which I don't remember anything. This could be problematic.
Okay, I think I really need to sleep now, because now we're getting into concerning territory.
Yeah, whenever we would, because of the way we did things in Iraq, my team would have to wait for security guys to go out with us. So I was normally in the back of the truck, so at night I would just kind of be like, hey boss, let me know when they get here. I'll take a nap for about a half hour, because that's how long it's going to take them.
I mean...
Okie dokie. Now that we've wandered far afield, I think
This has been the Sleep Schedule Podcast.
I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. So, you guys go ahead and let folks know where they can find you on the internets.
Anonymouse, ANONY-MOUSE- writer, WRITER. Also, I have an Overwatch blog that's the same thing, but recall instead of writer.
Cool.
Right. And you can find me on Tumblr, and I changed my username, so that's a little bit easier to find. It's just Cap Saturn, so it's just Cap-Saturn. Much easier to find. And then also, you can find me on Steam at Captain Saturn, 2 words. And then on Overwatch, I'm close. On Battle.net, you can find me at Cap Saturn, so uppercase, like it's all one word, uppercase Cap, uppercase Saturn.
Cool. And you can find me pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, MonkeeBoom, 2 E's, no Y. And thanks everybody for joining us today. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.